What's up? What's up? What is up? And welcome to the Dr. Ali Griffith Show, Mindset, Meditation, and Motivation. We are in for a lovely treat today. I'm so excited because this Autism Special Edition that we're running at this moment is happening during a very critical time in our surroundings, in our environment. And it was very critical for me to involve some other amazing autism superheroes out there, or superheroes, that are just living it every day and have been super active in social media, in their lives, and in their community. And I figured if I can ask if they can come and grace us with their presence, for them to just share more about their journey and for you to learn how you can navigate this process, whether you're a parent of a child with autism and or special needs, whether you're a family member and or you're just part of our support team. This will benefit us all. And one thing she wants us to know before we leave is that no matter what we're doing, we're okay. We're doing okay and we're doing the best job that we can. So let's talk a little bit more about that, and we're going to share some more about my wonderful guest. It's Christina Abernethy. Abernethy?
Yep.
Oh, okay, good, great for me. I've been working on it, guys. And she's a dedicated wife, mother of 3, passionate advocate for people that are impacted by disabilities. She is also the founder of Love, Hope, and Autism, proud coordinator of Changing Spaces in Pennsylvania, which is a movement to build accessible restrooms with powered height adjustable adult-sized changing tables across communities to promote inclusion. You know, I'm all about inclusion. She's also been doing some work with legislators in Pennsylvania that will require such facilities in hospitals and airports, malls, rest stops, to have access to restroom capacities for those with special needs. And being that I am a mom with Zachary, when he was younger and we would go into certain areas, and I traveled a lot, and not having accessible areas in the bathrooms or in public spaces made it very difficult, especially as a mom of a boy or a dad with a girl with special needs. So we're already dealing with the fact that we have to bring the same sex. I mean, I know many of you deal with that, but the same sex with other additional challenges. If we can have optimal settings, or at least a little bit better settings in the bathrooms and in restrooms all over the world, that would mean such a difference. So thank you for the work that you're doing. You're needed and we appreciate that. You'll also find that she's a 2 times best-selling co-author, most recently for You Are Not Alone, Stories, Resources, and Hope from Autism Moms, which is a book that's filled with inspiring resources and hope for families to let them know that they are not alone in this journey. Christina, thanks for coming and joining us today. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh my goodness. When I read that bio, it was so filled with such nourishment. What made you decide to go into this movement and actually be part of the leadership in this movement?
Sure. So we have 3 children. I have a daughter that's 17, Selena, and we have twin boys, Ethan and Braden. Ethan, also known as Bubba, across social media and in our home, family, and friends. He is 9. He's going to be 9 in just a couple weeks. So technically he's still 8. So I started joining this movement because something that we've always struggled with was restroom, like the access that we had when we're out in public, because even though Ethan is potty trained and has been for a few years, he has another medical diagnosis that requires assistance in the restroom. So even though he's potty trained, he still has these accidents. And what I was realizing was, you know, every single place we go, there is never an accessible restroom that has an adult-sized changing table in it. And, you know, the more that we're changing him on the floor, on a beach towel, or in the back of our vehicle with people walking by and staring, or in many cases, we leave, we pack up our whole family and we leave and we go home. You know, just one day it brought me to tears, and I came out of the bathroom and my husband is like, "What is the matter?" And I just said, you know, there has to be other families doing this. And what are other families doing? You know, this makes people feel excluded and secluded, you know, having to stay home and not being able to leave their home. And, you know, that's a huge part of our life too, is, you know, trying to plan and think ahead of where we might be able to go to enjoy a couple hours out as a family. And to find that really no place has these was just, it's life altering, not just for Ethan, but our entire family. And, I started talking about it with friends and family first. It took me some time to share it publicly. The more I talked about it with friends and family, the more I realized how many other families are really faced with this exact same situation. It might not be the same story and background and diagnosis, but that this one piece of equipment can be life-changing for so many families. And once I took to Facebook and shared our story, it was picked up very quickly, shared not only nationally, but internationally.
Yeah.
And that's how I came in contact with other moms and other self-advocates across our country, hearing and learning about this movement of, having these adult size changing tables that are height adjustable. So if you're caring for someone in a wheelchair, you do not have to lift them. And that's why it's so important for the height adjustable piece, so that you can lower it down to the wheelchair, the height of the wheelchair, and safely transfer them over. So even though Ethan is not a wheelchair user, it's still very important for the caregiver as well to be comfortable and safe while they're changing. So even though he can get on, I raise the table up, so I'm also not injuring my back. So it's safety, not only for the person being helped, but also for the caregiver themselves too. So I joined this movement very quickly after learning about them and talking with these other moms and self-advocates. And it just felt like my people, and all of our stories and backgrounds were very different. And even though our children are of different ages and backgrounds and diagnoses and things like that, this one thing kind of all brought us together. And when I heard that nobody was really championing that in Pennsylvania, I said, I'm your girl, and just kind of ran with it.
And you've been on it since then. You've been sharing it. It's been all over. I've seen you post the things inside of our groups in different autism supporters and special needs supporters groups. And I want to just commend you for standing bravely and boldly for so many others that couldn't say anything at all. One of the things that we have in common is the mere fact that we kept it for so long, right? It's similar to how I was dealing with, my guilt and shame and all the other good things that was coming. And I shouldn't say good, because at those moments they weren't so great. And I kept it into myself. And when I thought of doing things, I just would say, no one really matters. Like, it doesn't really matter. It just seems like it's just me. And especially when I had started the martial arts program for kids with autism. And I remember the first person that I went and I spoke to, and they were like, that's a great idea. And then more moms began to say, wait a minute, we need something to do with our kids, that they can move around, and that it's okay for them to have, movements and still learn martial arts and self-defense, and most importantly, how to be in tune with their bodies. And it just reminds us, and for those out there that are sitting on ideas that you are being impacted by, that's impacting your life. Like, literally, it was impacting going out. When it impacts you going out and socializing, the challenges of trying to change your child on the floor, and as they get older. And I know a lot of you have probably dealt with this with maybe even the elderly populations, or people who just don't have access to all their limbs and use of it. So it's not only for those that are on autism or special needs, but it's for others who just may not be able. I mean, if you're going to have a changing table, then let's move it to a capacity where it can be a changing table for all. So definitely standing up with you for that. Speaking of challenges, we're taping this during the COVID-19 pandemic, and this series was specifically taped so that moms and families out there can know that they're not alone in this journey. How are you dealing with it? I know for me, I've been trying to figure out at first, as a speech therapist and audiologist, I was trying to figure out how to do the balance between work at home and being a mom, and trying not to be perfect superhero mom, because you know how we are. We want to get everything done. And then giving him grace also through the process. So they've heard a lot about mine. Why don't you share a little bit about your experience?
Sure. I absolutely agree with what you're saying. I mean, they're challenging times right now. And I think the best thing that we can do is do the best that we can do. That first week or two, you're trying to be super mom and super teacher and super therapist and super everything. And the bottom line, that's going to burn yourself out. It's going to burn your kids out. And that's what I was noticing. And I can't keep going full speed ahead for who knows how long. And now that we know, at least in our state, there is no school resuming for the rest of the year. So knowing that, a part of me felt a little bit better in the knowing. That was one thing that I knew was for sure, right? So it was like, how do we plan for that? And how do we take this, week by week, day by day? And, trying to be mom and, ABA and PT and OT and all of these things, it can be overwhelming. And I think it is overwhelming for our kiddos. I'm starting to learn to just take it day by day. And someday we might be like A+ and right on, and it's the beginning of the week and every session went great and it was a win, you know? But then if I have a day where, okay, we didn't get to do that therapy today and we didn't get to that worksheet, that's okay too. And it's still a win in my book because we got through the day. We got through it together. Not every day is going to be the same. Not every day is going to be perfect. And I think we all need to remind ourselves to give ourselves some grace, to give our kids some grace. I think, you know, this is such a new way of living and learning for all of us. I mean, the teachers, the parents trying to be teachers, for the kids. I mean, this is a very, very difficult times for everyone. And I think the most important thing is just to support each other and know that we're all doing the best that we can individually, as families, as school districts. And I also work part-time for an ABA provider. So I'm also trying to do all of those, but also try to work part-time from home. So I'm grateful that I can, you know, make calls and connect with families through calls like this or through, you know, the phone and things like that. But it is hard, you know, trying to do that and be, you know, do my job, but also with the kids at home. So it is a struggle, but I'm learning as each week passes to just kind of take that deep breath in. Actually shared a post the other day. Like I went down in my car for a few minutes the other day in my robe. I went in my parked car in my garage and I sat in the silence. I was taking nice deep breaths. I cleared my thoughts. I thought about other things other than what's going on right now. You know, sometimes I put on Christmas music for a little bit. I'll take my phone. I love Christmas.
He must know you because he's been singing and playing Christmas songs in this house.
Oh, I love it.
I'm like, what's going on here?
I love it. So I just think any place where we can also find those little snippets of just peace for our own mental health, I think is really important too, because you can't pour from an empty cup. And if mom is empty, then that's going to show throughout the rest of the family too. So I'm slowly learning. I sure as heck don't have it all together either, but I'm learning as I go. And I'm really just trying to remind myself that I'm doing the best I can. So is my husband, and so are our kids.
I love how you said, you know, give one day at a time and give ourselves grace and also give our kids grace. I remember Zachary getting overwhelmed by my overwhelmedness, right? And him just telling me like, mom, I got this. You go. Like he put me on timeout. I was so on top of him to get stuff done because I knew he had to turn in this assignment and I had to get my work done. And, you know, I was trying to juggle it all at that moment. And I felt my anxiety levels raised. And that was during the first 2-3 weeks. And let's go back to that beginning. Right. The beginning, we were all like trying to just do more than we needed to. And once he told me that, I realized that I think he is sensing it more from me than everything else that's going on. So as everything else, I had to learn to check myself. And I had to go and, you know, start back my meditation and make sure I did it not only once, not twice, but at times 3 times a day. And I have an all meditation series on the podcast where it's just about 10 minutes, where it's the same thing. And it's for it was during our regular time where our days are just so busy. We don't have the whole 20-30 minutes at times of meditation, but just to find 10 minutes a day where you can just be still, shut down, turn off the world, and just be within yourself so that you can pour back into your cups and then go back out there and serve. So you definitely hit some amazing points. Do you have any self-meditational or prayer? I know you said go into the car and spend a few minutes. Do you have a routine that you do to help you to just keep your sanity at times?
I do. I have a couple things. So I was given a book by a dear friend of mine who has passed away now, but before she passed away, she gave me a book called Jesus is Calling. So it's like a daily devotional that I like to refer to. I try to do it daily. Sometimes, you know, you're 2-3 days past and then you get 3 really good snippets, but I try to do that. I pray a lot in silence, whether that's in my car or before I go to bed at night. There's a couple meditation apps I have on my phone that I try to do. I think I have Breathe and Calm. Headspace was another one that I have on there. Something else that has really helped me too that I wanted to point out was, you know, we are in control of who we are surrounding ourselves with right now, not just in your family and your home life, but social media is such a huge impact on our thoughts and our feelings. And something that I've learned too is just to unfollow certain things or certain pages. And I would want somebody to do that to me or my page if I'm not bringing them what they need during this time, because it doesn't mean that you can't be friends. It doesn't mean that you can't speak to them after this. It's just everybody is kind of, I feel like everyone is dealing with this and dealing with their own heart in a different way. And if a certain page that you follow or certain people, if it's negativity or if it's bringing you down and making you feel some sort of way that is negatively impacting you, you can unfollow for 30 days. You have the choice to, you know, kind of make present in your life what is bringing you joy and making you happy during such a hard time. So that's something else that I've kind of done, is just kind of pinpoint where I'm, you know, okay, I'm just going to unfollow that for 30 days. And again, it's not that I don't love you or I don't want to follow you anymore. It's just right now, that's not what I need. And I think that that's okay.
And that takes us back to another episode I had that's called Unsubscribe from Negativity. Right? And I see it also wherever there's some places I go, some chat groups, some stations, some, you know, just some places that just pull away from my energy. And at this time, we're dealing with so many things. I have to select my space very carefully and protect my space. And that's what you're saying. We have to select our space. We have to protect our space. It was important for me to put together something of positivity, something of informational, and something that is pretty laid back. I didn't want this to be too, you know, something that they have to pull out a dictionary on or start trying to figure it out there. But I wanted you to just, you know, be in a calm space, or, you know, whether you're taking care of your kids right now or just driving to the grocery stores to get that once a week or once or 2 week shopping list done, to listen to something and just know that, you know, you have two other moms out here that we are going through. We understand that each day is a new day. And we understand that when things are just not lined up the way we would love it to be lined up, it's okay. Right? And for us to just keep on doing our best during this time. I want to thank you for just joining us. As usual, this is a nice short podcast because we know our lives, if you can squeeze 20 minutes in, we're lucky. Right? So what I like to ask each person that visits is, I believe each one was divinely sent here for a reason, to leave a message for whoever's listening right now. And if you're listening, please make sure you like, subscribe, invite some friends, because this is a really powerful message. What do you think that you were sent here to say? If you were to give, and we call it a soundbite, which is a nice quick something that they leave and they'll keep hearing it for the rest of the day or the rest of the week, what do you think you were sent here to let our listeners know?
So for me personally, this kind of makes me teary-eyed a little bit. So I was in nursing school and I quit when Ethan was diagnosed, because I wanted to be very active in his therapy services and things like that, and be knowledgeable on how to help him, not just throughout this during therapy, but also afterwards as well. I've had this passion in me. I think it's in my blood to just help others and connect with others, which is why I was in nursing school. And even though the tables have turned a lot and that looks very different, my true passion is connecting with other people and giving them hope so that they know that they are not alone in this journey, and just inspiring people to use your voice, and your voice does matter. We might not think that just one story or one person matters, but it does. And so I just want to encourage people to speak up and use your voice for those who aren't able to, because it not only changes a life for you or your child, but also for many others around the world. So my purpose, I feel like, is connecting with other people and inspiring hope, letting them know that they're not alone.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Christina. You landed on such powerful things, and you gave a few sound bites, so I'll just pull out the ones that resonated to me. You know, be helpful and make sure that you know that your voice matters. That's one of the tools and tips I give in my book, Amazing Gifts, that I matter, and to be a noisemaker, like say how you feel and really get what your thoughts are out. And you'll realize that the last tip was that you are not alone. No matter where you are in this journey, you are not alone. If you ever need to reach out, you definitely have my information at below. You'll have Christina's information. She has a book out there. She has a following. She has groups out there. Everything will be directly in our show notes, where you'll just be able to click and go on, follow her, give her some love. Follow us, give us some love. Make sure you tell the world out there, because we need more positivity. We need more light. We need more joy. We need more information that can just make us feel good as individuals and as human beings out there. And that's the purpose of this show. As always, with what I leave you with every week, continue to be amazing in your thoughts, in your words, and in your actions. Until next time, peace.
Thank you so much.